Right, David, how are you?
Not so bad.
Cool. Folks, apparently I said it was the 11th today. It's no, it's the 13th. Please excuse me. I don't know why I said 11th this morning, but I did.
He's been messing about with that time machine again. That's what it is.
Apparently.
His
There you have it.
big DeLorean that he keeps at the front of the house.
To correct myself, it's the Two Davies on the 13th of the 10th, 2025. Right, let's have a wee look and see who's in. Mark McLagan's in. Chris Fisher's in. Apparently, Reagan Elite's in. Aki's Mad's in. Robert Bruce is in. Lord He is in. Aye, well, no, it's Laurie He. Alan Duncan. Rosie McGregor. Ice Ninja. Stephen Bankier. Alistair Kerr. Lorna Shields. Jeanette O'Fallon. Wolf Pet. Last Braveheart. And Chris, what you got to say for yourself today, young fella? You've always said we are still at war with the South, not in a physical sense, but in a diplomatic war. We will win. Oh, is that what you were reading out earlier, David?
Yeah.
We will win eventually, Chris, eh? That's for sure. But we'll be going there in a minute. Right. Hi, Francis. Numbers are climbing nicely. Oh, Stephen McNeil. Right, David. SNP conference of the weekend. Did you catch any of it?
Yeah, just bits that I saw coming off of that Gate Forum sort of thing, right? But the most important one for me was the John Swinney part, was the strategy going forward, the plan.
The plan.
So,
Saturday afternoon's debate.
For independence. Simple as that. That's what I was waiting on. That's what you're waiting on. That's what everybody's waiting on.
Well, I watched it Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
And of course, the conference passed John's route.
Yeah.
So it will now be
the rebels got let down. Oh my goodness me! Imagine calling them rebels. That's dreadful. It really is. Yeah.
We know better, David.
Well, I know. The thing is, though, it's like
the party voted to back John's route.
I hate that characterization in a really a democratic party like the SNP, and a section of them comes in and disagrees with something and says we got a different idea, and they get called rebels.
Well, the debate was quite lively, to be fair, and of course John's resolution passes.
Yeah.
So the route to independence apparently is an SNP majority. So he's set the bar real high and has put us on the position of SNP 1 and 2 again, hasn't he?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, we need to fight this. I don't mean we need to fight John. We need to fight this where we're going for the majority on the SNP.
That's it. We're going to hit.
People have got to realise there's no more any fence where they can go, oh, I'll give my first vote to SNP, or I'll give the second vote to Alba or whatever, right? You give it to SNP. Something like that.
We're in the position now where it is SNP 1 or 2. 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And we need 50% of the population to do it. And at least one region. And that's going to be bloody difficult, David.
Right.
But you're right, that's the way we're going to have to fight this.
Yeah.
We're going to have to fight this.
Democracy is simple. If we can get everybody singing from the same hymn sheet, we can do what the hell we like. If Scotland wanted to be independent, all that's going to happen is that every single person in Scotland is going to go, yeah, we're independent. Let's put a sign. The actual fact, the best idea would be for everybody to sign up as an SNP member.
Marco's been telling that for the last decade, as you know. Marco Ronaldo has been banging that out day after day for 10 fucking years.
Right. Yeah.
So he has.
Yeah. And then that is it. The moment you get above the tipping point,
Let me
that's it.
Nathan, I'm well aware of the potential of that strategy. It's no my strategy, Nathan.
Yeah.
That's what's just come out of the party conference. Please don't make the mistake of thinking that's what I think's the right thing to do. John's just set that bar.
Where would we be without Murdo Fraser? My goodness me.
See, John's, aye, that's fair enough, eh? But John set that bar, Nathan, no me. I didn't set that bar. I
The
didn't.
ball has to.
That's
No,
why.
hold on a second. Hold on. See, before this turns into a debate on whether we should do this or should do that, it's been decided.
That was decided by us.
It's in tablets of stone.
Yes.
Look with it,
And
and
David
you're
and
going
I,
to have to deal with it.
David and
right?
I are Democrats, so we're going to do what the party wants us to do
Right.
because they have democratically voted to do it.
Yeah. There's this two delusional men. There you go. This delusion is dead simple. I don't know where you're from, son or dear, right? But at the end of the day, it's like we look at the conference and what comes out of that conference, and we are SNP members. Simple as that.
And if John has deemed it and the conference has voted for it, then SNP 1 and 2 it is for David and I.
That's right.
Because
And
we're Democratic Party members.
Yeah, and we are above all else, apart from being delusional, as you call us, we're Democrats.
Yep. And we're also party members, so we'll toe the party line.
Yeah.
Dave and I have been toeing the party line for that fucking long now, it's not true.
Anyway, I know somebody you can, I'll give you a number, I'll pass a number to you later on to actually deal with that stammer that you've got.
Deadly get poor boy alone. He can't stammer. Yeah. It's a Larry the Cat says, hey, Keir Starmer's probably Daddy Starmer, that one, I know. Anyway, folks, John has set the bar. The conference has set the bar.
Yeah.
So, whether we like it or no, that's the direction we're going in, folks. That's all. David and I are just discussing it with each other and with you guys. You know.
If you want to read my thoughts on it, right, then go look up my Facebook page and it should be there for you straight away. It's a piece I wrote called "I'm Shocked," brackets not. And as far as Starmer has said no matter what, and everybody else has said no, and it's not the time. This is not the time for independence.
Let's leave it,
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
England has said no, Scotland, you can't do it. So that's an end to the matter, David.
You're not allowed.
D says Daddy Starmer says we can't.
If they could speak in a Scottish accent, England would be going, gonna know.
If we did, well, fuck what the English Prime Minister says. They don't quite get it, do they? Right, let's move on, shall we? So, folks, that's it. The direction has set.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or no, that's the direction we're going in. Right, let's move on. The Alpha Party implodes as its one and only MSP quits the party, saying she wants to concentrate on her prostitution bill.
Yes.
Truth is, of course, there's factions within the Alpha Party and they're all exploding.
It's a bit of a joke, but they should pay a lot for prosecution.
No, that's no nice, David.
Oh, wait. Do apologise. That was a joke. That was a satire, right? Yeah. So,
but to be on the serious side of what Ash Regan is trying to do with this bill,
yeah,
she's trying to criminalise men paying for sex because, as you know, David, it's only illegal for women to solicit sex. It's not illegal for a man to offer money for sex.
At the end of the day, it's the oldest industry in the entire world.
It's not going away.
And it's not going away. Of course it's not.
Not unless you eliminate the need for it.
Yeah. Right.
Now, as I say, the Alpha Party is imploding. It can't field candidates. It's one elected representative in the Scottish Parliament, she's resigned because Chris McElhenney was booted out the party, and Ashley and Chris are quite close. They're friends. There is factions within the party, and they're all blowing up.
Yeah.
And I believe Moira stopped her action against the Scottish Government as well, as she retreats from the remnants of the Alpha Party, leaving McCaskill looking pretty stupid, actually.
Well, look, I think there's enough noise come from that direction, or there has been enough noise come from that direction for the past number of months. And we know fine well, if that's the case, people who are looking to put their vote behind Alba starting to go, maybe not a good idea. Yeah?
Yep.
So, in the story.
But
we're stuck on, because we are SNP members, we have got to go through the SNP 1 and 2. In actual fact, I've got to say to you, if you want independence, really, SNP 1 and 2. Seriously. Simple as that.
It worked the last time, David.
Yeah.
It did work the last time, folks.
Yeah.
In one region, it was a bit of a fluke.
Yeah.
But it could be done again.
Yes.
But it is a hard way. The Alpha Party becoming an owned entity, it was never an entity anyway, it was just a noisy faction. Yeah. The question is, where does that faction go come this election? 6,000 votes, David, it's quite a lot of votes. Mm-hmm. You know, where do they go? I guess the Green Party's going to get it. Or are we going to get the loony wing of the SNP back again?
Oh, they might vote reform.
They might vote reform.
No, seriously, that's a wrong characterisation of the people.
Yes, of course it is.
The people that voted for Alba, that took up the Alba flag, as it were the best of people.
Of course they are.
You're right. And at the end of the day, it's like, what's happened is Alba has fallen flat on its face. And it's the old situation you would, where somebody says, I didn't leave Labour, Labour left me. Well, it's the same with Alba. I didn't leave Alba, Alba left me.
You know, the notion of having another party split the vote wasn't great for the SNP point of view, but for a democratic point of view, David, you and I are Democrats, it was a fair thing to attempt.
Yeah.
The reason why you and I have always said it was doomed to fail was because we looked at the figures that put it together. And they were quite fractious people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care what the motivation was. The outcome was always going to be that it was divisive. And it would split the indie vote. Simple as that.
Yes.
What we need to do is if you are Alba right now, if you were thinking of giving your vote to Alba, right, bite your bottom lip and give it to the SNP. Get as independent as quick as possible, please.
Thank you. Aye. To be fair, David, you know, some of them are right good friends of mine that were out of the Alpha Party.
And mine.
You know, and they're all good people. But it's time for them to come on home. We've got a job today.
Yeah.
It's time for them to come on home. We've got a job today. Back to independence.
Yeah.
Steady division.
Yeah.
Right. And this one makes me smile, David, even though the concept of it was good. And that is, it looks like wee Dougie Ross is going to bow out of the Scottish Parliament without achieving anything except being a pain in the arse and making himself look stupid, as his right to recovery bill is put in the shredder.
Yeah.
Now, the SNP and the Greens voted against it, 63 to 52 was the vote. The Labour Party voted with it, but as a caveat to that, well, in the debate, they said that the whole bloody thing would need to be rewritten in the committee stage to make it work. The rehab charities out there said this is going to make it more difficult rather than easier for people to get, because we'll just create a new waiting list. We're trying our best. and it would just channel funds away from them who are up and running at the moment. Apparently, it would be open to legal challenges for some reason.
Yeah. Just purely as an aside, I watched one of these TikTok videos, and it was a lady that was working for one of the rehab charities, right? And she was explaining, right? But what she started off by saying Scotland's got the worst drug deaths figure in the whole of Europe and all the rest of it, right? And I went, no, that's not right. And I actually wrote I wrote a comment on it. Basically, it said, if you look at the death certificate set up for England and practically any of the European nations, they ask you what the cause of death is. It might be heart attack. Somebody's died from drug overdose, right? Heart stop, heart failure, right?
It was a Peter Dugan's telling us there's other people going to run against the SNP the way they help a lot, and they're just going to waste their 600 quid. Apparently, Liberation Scot would stand down in constituencies if the SNP cooperated, but no. Where the split continue is SNP nae uniting with all indie parties. What bloody indie parties? Every bloody one of them except for the Greens, who are no an indie party committed, have lost their bloody deposits.
Look, guys, you know, it's about time that you lot, as well as us, try to talk sense to these people, right? At the end of the day, if you want independence, that's it. You've got a straightforward choice. Bugger off or vote SNP.
Anyway, as I say,
And it's like, seriously, if you, what I mean by bugger off is don't bother voting anything at all.
Bit stern, David, but I'm not going to say that because I like Peter. He's a good lad. But this notion that there's other indie parties out there, the ISP, the what? So we're missing 600 votes here and 700 votes there as they lose their deposits. But these 600 or 700 votes could be that extra list seat we're looking for.
That's right. We actually saw that. Where did we see that? The last woman by-election, the last that died.
Aye.
And it's like, it turned out that we were 600 votes short, and unfortunately, it was the Greens.
The Greens, aye, they stood in the constituency, but don't normally stand in the constituency.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a perfect example of why these small parties are actually being an irritation.
Yeah.
But what I don't get is why they keep storming. They keep losing their bloody money.
People, I think so many people use politics as a way to make lots of money. And that's a wrong idea, guys. If you get someone in politics, if that's their primary motive, then that's somebody that shouldn't be standing as any kind of representative for people. Simple as that. If they just want to make money, tell them to go into business or whatever. Do it that way. Don't do it through politics.
As I say, but let's get back to Reid Ross and his bill. Apparently, it was so badly written that it had to be put in the bin. So Reid Ross gets to bugger off at the next election, where he's been chased out of the Tory party by his own people.
Yeah.
And he will have
Sorry, I'm going to finish off what I was saying, right?
On you go.
The deaths and everywhere apart from Scotland, right? Basically, if you die of a heart attack, if your heart stops due to drugs, then what happens is that goes down as heart failure. In Scotland, we've got an additional one, which is contributing factors.
I didn't know.
We were right in there. The contributing factor would be drug overdose.
Oh, is somebody talking about the amount of people that are diagnosed or die of drugs in Scotland?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That was one of the charities that we're actually dealing with.
Aye.
The rehab, right? And I just thought I had to put a note on that, right? And seriously, if you want to check us out, The Scottish death certificate is that much more detailed than any place else, and it means that we end up we've got the highest drug deaths in the world or in Europe, wherever, right? Load of nonsense. These drug deaths are taking place up and down the country, right across Europe.
Right,
right?
these balls in the bin anyway. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Right, Swinney and the Governor General for Scotland both appeared on politics the Scotland on Sunday yesterday. John to be interrogated on the NHS waiting times and on immigration. And the Governor General was there to tell us that the SNP are the Grand Old Duke of York, and it doesn't matter how many times they march their men or their army or their desire for independence to top of the hill. We Dougie, the Governor General, and his overmaster in Westminster says we can't have it.
Thanks, Neil.
That was a politics on Sunday for us here in Scotland, where, of course, the SNP to be attacked on a problem which is universal around the planet at this point in time since the pandemic, and that is backlogs in healthcare systems and immigration, of course. Now, on immigration, John tells us all via BBC Politics on Sunday that it's been framed incorrectly south of the border. They should be talking about the benefits of immigration. And here in Scotland, he's proud that we are welcoming because we need to bolster our...
What are the benefits of immigration to the people of Scotland?
Well, staffs were public services, such as social care. They're doctors, they're nurses, they're specialists in computing. They just fit right in, but what they bring with them is flavours of their countries and cultures of their countries to enrich them.
Also, we've got we have a situation thanks to Gordon Bastard Brown, right, who took our pension pots that we'd all grown up and splashed up the fucking wall when he was going for a piss one day, right? And as far as that's concerned, what happens now is the people that work pay for the state pension. So with the tax that you see in your wage slip at the end of the month, part of that tax goes to feeding people like me that are on a state pension, right?
Very true.
The more people let me finish. The more people that are working, are of working age, the easier that tax burden is, right? But we're all from the baby boomers. There's millions of us. Well, not millions, but let's say hundreds of thousands of us, right?
Yourself.
At the end of the day, it's like we need immigration. We need people to come in, take up jobs, and pay taxes to pay for us. Simple as that. So if there's any old gits out there that are going, I hate these illegal immigrants, no such thing. No such thing. A human being cannot be illegal just by being a human being.
Well, anyway, as I say, on the immigration thing, John says at least here we're taking the right attitude because we need to bolster our working age population.
Yeah, but we need to underline. We need to underline that. We need to underline that we were going on the immigration argument because it needs to be where people understand that we need immigrants. Unless you're going to start knitting people into Scotland, right? You're going to need people to come in to help pay for things.
Well, say on the immigration thing, I wonder why they keep bringing this up. Because it's reserved. You'd think they would avoid it like the plague. But it's always been an issue here. We've been trying to get a grip of immigration since the SNP came to power because we need an immigration policy tailored to our needs.
Yeah.
And so,
as I said the other day there, right? I'm not interested in what people in little votes cause. Now, they don't cause me any problems whatsoever. It's the people that turn up in executive jets.
did you see
That's
Lord
what I'm worried
Heseltine's
about.
speech, David?
What?
Did you see Lord Heseltine's speech at the interview at the
Yes,
conference?
absolutely brilliant, absolutely superb.
He says the way these people are being portrayed as rapists, murderers, and robbers.
Mm.
He says that's just fascist for the 1930s.
That's right.
He
That's right.
called Farage a fascist.
Yeah.
And if we look at the behaviour of the Labour Party and the way they have doubled down on what the Tory Party were doing in civil liberties in England and Wales, they're not that far behind Farage.
It's very easy to point out to spot a fascist. Ask them to give you a salute.
They all wear black shirts.
Well, I'm wearing a black shirt, but I'm a fascist.
Well,
Yeah.
as I say, I thought Lord Heseltine's speech, but it was worth a mention because he did them punches.
Yeah.
He went on to say how great
Very, very, very good, right? And actual fact, it's like then you get the idiot Kemi Badenoch coming on stage. She's in charge of the Tories. When you get somebody like Heseltine sitting there who could actually run it with his pinky. You know what I mean? So.
And of course, we're going to finish off with Kate Forbes having the right fucking go at the Labour Party for the Scottish Party, the National Party Conference. She says that Scottish Labour wants to align Scotland with England and make Scotland more like England.
Yes.
And of course, we know Sarwar said that's true. He'd like to put the tax system back to what it was before the SNP made it a more progressive tax system. He would like to align us back with the 3 bands and get rid of the Scottish income tax section altogether, so that Westminster would then have total control of their finances again. So Kate has got a point when she does say that Scottish Labour would want to make Scotland more like England. You know,
they want us to give up the free prescriptions, free care of the elderly, free university tuition, bring back bridge tolls. You just keep on run down, not everything. And it's like at the end of the day, who the hell wants that? Hey, that's fact. Absolutely.
yes. They argue with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Kate then goes on to say that Anna Sarwar would like to see Edinburgh more like London and Glasgow more like Manchester. But Kate points out to Sarwar, Edinburgh's got a higher GDP than London, and Glasgow's got a greater GDP than Manchester. So what Anna Sarwar wants to do is make us all fucking poorer. I did say she had a pop, you know. Apparently, John's speech was barnstorming this afternoon, David.
Yeah.
Apparently, it went doing well, and the activists are feeling buoyant going into this election.
At the end of the day, it's like any leader in the past, the last day of the conference is always done the let's rabble rouse them, get them going, get them all going, and all the rest of it. I don't think that happens anyway. Tommy Sheridan actually wrote papers on it, I think.
There's a read I'm not going to bother fucking having.
Tommy, we love you. Don't worry about it, son. Not as much as you love yourself, but anyway, that's beside the point.
Don't worry, brother. I'll sort him out for you, Tommy. I do like Tommy. I think he's a good guy. Just with the
Tommy's a good one. He's a good one.
Aye. Right, let's move on down that road, shall we? Rachel, for accounts, has been warned against half-baked measures and quick-fix tax hikes by a so-called respected think tank.
This has been the longest coming budget ever.
Anyway, the Institute for Fiscal Studies, who's never got fuck all right in its life,
Right, okay.
wants Rachel for accounts to double council tax on the highest band properties to bring in an extra £4 billion a year.
Right.
And they also want to abolish the inheritance tax relief you would have on your primary residence, and that would raise £6 billion apparently. And then they want Rachel Reeves to extend the fiscal drag by not ending the freeze on the tax entry level in 2028. They don't say how much they think that would generate, but the IFS, who's never got anything fucking right, says that she needs to find 20 billion in this budget by cuts or tax rises.
Hang on. Hello? Is that the Bank of England? Is engineer there on a big computer in the corner? Aye, John, right. Tell John to type 20 million pounds into the keyboard.
Billion, David, billion.
Yeah.
It's B for billion.
What?
B for billion. Get John back to 40s. He's billions short.
Oh.
Anyway,
the reason why they keep saying that was a magic money tree. The magic money tree does exist.
yes, David, but let's go on with what the Treasury had to say in reply to the IFS.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Right. Okay. Sorry about the French, but there you go.
The Treasury has said the budget will be to fund public services and encourage economic growth. At that point, you just go, the Treasury's no more fucking viable than the fucking IFS when it comes to anything.
Well,
This bloody economy.
The UK Treasury, let me just remind everyone, the actual people in the UK Treasury were used during our referendum to 2014, run up to the 2014, to produce arguments for better together. And after the fact, they were actually reported in the Civil Service World, the magazine for civil service workers, as having an awards day for people who thought the best wizard wheeze for stopping these ugly jocks from being independent.
In other words, they broke the civil service code and they got involved in politics.
Absolutely.
But why wouldn't you just fucking say that?
Well, I had to say it in a way whereby everybody could go, that's where they went wrong.
5 minutes. Worked. Right, let's move on. After the Treasury, you just know their credibility's out the window when they get the economic growth part. You just go, fuck it. Hi, Rachel. Here's some. I'll give you advice, Rachel. You want to raise money? Tax the fucking rich.
Rachel, we like coffee.
Don't you start. Right, here we go. Let's move on.
Seriously, she keeps on saying tea's up. That's no good. I don't like tea. I like coffee.
Right, let's move on, shall we? Now, the BBC and Bridget Phillips, and the Education Secretary, everybody is set to the UK's role in the ceasefire in Gaza. The Egyptians have said the UK paid no part. The Americans have said the UK played no part, except for Witkoff this morning, who said that the government's security advisor, Jonathan Powell, had been quite helpful But as you and I know, David, that was actually helpful in the destruction of Gaza.
Yes, exactly right. In actual fact, it would be the exact opposite. The UK has been involved in killing thousands of people.
In Gaza.
Seriously, I mean, is anybody in their right mind going to try and explain to me? Oh, they just took off from Akrotiri in the spy plane, and they went for a nice
David,
flight across, nice flight across Gaza, and they took a few photographs, and they had the photographs to their pals in the IDF, and I wonder what that was about. In actual fact, they were target spotting. A woman and her weighing at a windy.
We know that. These people all know that. They know pretty well.
So was Britain responsible for bringing forth a ceasefire? No, exactly the opposite.
Well, let's put it this way. There's arms companies all around the world, including here, praying that the ceasefire doesn't hold.
Yes, that's right.
Because if they don't keep fighting, once Israel rearms and there's no fight, then they stop making money.
Yeah, that's right. And David, we in Scotland we've got people that work for arms firms, right? And to be honest with you, it's like, I know it sounds awful saying this, but I wish all these people would lose their jobs.
Don't we all, universally? But it does bring us back to Labour's industrial strategy, which is, of course, as we all know, folks, build up the defence infrastructure.
Yeah.
The future of the UK is apparently in selling the weapons of destruction.
Yeah.
There's no fucking wars, then the UK goes bust. Because that is Labour's industrial strategy going forward. It was announced at the last budget, and the programme for growth, Rachel's there, she'll tell you, is to grow the military industrial complex. And that military industrial complex requires warfare and requires wars to be fought in order for it to make fucking money. Immoral. It just tells you how desperate that the state has become. That its moral ambition is to make the UK the world's top death dealer. Do you imagine that as a growth strategy? Build weapons so that people can kill each other.
Well, look at what the US military industrial complex was all about.
Yes.
The piece of paper we've all heard about with Libya and Syria and other different countries on it, right? And that's where they were going to go in, upset them, tear them apart, and that's it. And they were all Arab countries.
Yep. Aye. So it doesn't get. So that's the UK and its role in the ceasefire. The UK had no fucking role in the ceasefire. The UK didn't want fucking ceasefire, and the UK's vast military industrial project is predicated on people killing each other.
Yes.
We need to get out of this fucking madhouse.
Yes.
Because that's how desperate they've become down that road. They're betting their future on killing each other and the planet.
Now let me take just what David said there and say to everybody on here that's considering their second vote as being for ALBA or Liberation or some other Johnny Come Lately. There you are, Johnny Come Lately party, right?
It's music.
And again, we need out of this union. The only way to get out of this union is to get the SNP voted in as a majority.
And you're right, Steve. Rule of acquisition number 34, war is good for profit.
Yeah. Okay.
And believe it or not, Pete, Newt, you've just come in the
See-
door. What we're actually talking about is Labour's industrial strategy being predicated on war. Because
See,
Labour...
I didn't know you were Ferengi. How's your ears these days?
because Labour's strategy for industrial growth is to grow the vast military industrial complex.
Right.
So we know how morally bankrupt the state is when its whole industrial strategy is based on building the weapons of war and selling the weapons of war. Now, when we move on after this one, English Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson has a pop at the higher education system in England, saying universities must sort out anti-Semitism.
Oh dear. Oh, that is so funny. That is you imagine that all these kids that are quite bright going to university,
Discussing
right?
such things.
And discussing
University students do.
yeah, as university students do, about the genocide that's taking place in Gaza, people being killed left, right, and centre, right? And that makes them anti-Semitic. Oh, tell it fuck off. Simple as that. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell Dave. Tell him Dave said fuck off. There you go. How's with that?
But it's just another extension of this crackdown on people protesting against the genocide that's been going on in Gaza, and which will continue to go on, folks. Take your word for it.
At the moment, it's a ceasefire. I hope and pray, as David. Well, David doesn't pray, but we both hope that the ceasefire lasts
and becomes a peace deal.
Becomes a peace deal.
I'm afraid we don't see it ourselves. Anyway, but this is just another phase on this clampdown on people protesting what Israel's doing. Now they want universities to stop the students protesting.
Yeah.
Is that not what Trump was doing in America?
Oh.
That is what Trump was doing in America.
Well, what's Trump not doing in America?
Very true. But what Labour no doing that road that Trump's no doing, they're doing the exact same fucking things, actually.
Did it pass notes between themselves, do you think?
Well, with the American trade deal that doesn't exist.
It's like, no, I believe it's a notepad and it's headed Wizard Wheeze, right? Stammer and these lot get a good Wizard Wheeze. I get passed on to Trump and Trump goes, oh, that's quite good. We'll do that here, right? Where's with that? Huh?
But I mean, if you look at it, the Parliament has no role in decision making anywhere. It's all coming from number 10. It's been like that since fucking Bojo.
No, it's coming from America.
No, as I say.
Oh, sorry. Let's get it right. It's coming from Israel that are directing America, that are passing the information on to us, right? Seriously.
But as I say, this pop at universities because students have the right to protest and discuss these issues is just disgusting. So,
if any of you have read 1984, effectively what you've got is you've got a situation now where they're going to stop protests. They're going to stop people from protesting, right? And it's the last thing that you want to let them do.
Yep. That's the very last thing. Now we go on to a wee bit more comedy. And that is Yvette Cooper tells the papers and anybody else who would listen, the Foreign Secretary, that the UK won't be sending peacekeeping forces into Israel.
But it wasn't sending peacekeeping forces into Israel or Palestine or Gaza or West Bank. Wasn't what's happening anyway. So why she mention it? Why she opened her gub and said such a thing?
I don't know, because I read the 20-point plan that it was apparently put in place. I didn't see anything about peacekeeping forces, did you?
Yeah, I mean the only thing I've seen on peacekeeping forces is the wee gentleman that's the president of the Philippines, right?
Yes.
And he said, I've got 20,000 men and women ready to go as peacekeepers in Gaza right now. As
Yep.
soon as the UN are ready for me to do it, we will happily do it.
Yep. But that won't happen.
And don't forget, these people are fighters. You actually have Gurkhas in this world, right?
Oh, the fighters, all right. They've been fighting each other for that fucking long.
That's right.
They've only just managed to get themselves so to do it since they get rid of fucking Westminster.
People wonder why a wee country like, a wee country, what am I saying? A country like Scotland was basically backward, as they called in England, right? Were such good fighters. They were good at fighting each other. Simple as that, you know. And if you ever manage up to Lochaber, that sort of area, there's a canal lock, and there's actually a sign up saying this is the position of the Battle of the Shirts, and it's where 700 men took to the fields one day. It was a hot day, start the fight, right? And eventually they had to take the heavy kilts off and continue fighting. That's why it was called the Battle of Shirts. And there was 2 men walked off the battlefield.
I guess they went down the pub for a pint.
Something like that. But anyway, there you go.
Yeah, it's typical for the clans, but
no, you can imagine the end of it. It's like everybody's lying, like heads locked off and all this stuff. And then the two, shall we call it a draw?
So I'm glad they've taken up going football, David. It's a lot peaceful. The clans are all just tribes of football supporters now, thank fuck.
Yeah, well.
Okay. Anyway, Yvette Cooper. Anyway, the real reason why they wouldn't be putting anybody into peacekeeping forces, they don't fucking have any.
That's right. So I think, you've got to look at the British Army, right? What's the numbers at the moment, David?
2,600.
You know.
You can get 60,000 in a minute Parkhead.
That's right.
You know. You could get the whole of the British Army into that new stadium in Wales. The whole of them.
Yeah.
And if something like 10,000 spare seats.
Yeah.
It's pathetic. As the Americans put in that report we reported on, David, they couldn't put a battlefield on the ground.
Well, the good thing about it is that as time goes on, as time marches on, less and less people will want to be involved in armed forces. Right?
Well, we see that already, David.
Yeah.
For years now.
But I have to mention it over and over and over again. AI is here, and all your jobs are all gone. So it doesn't matter if you sign up with the British Army, AI will replace you within a couple of years. Sorry about that.
But I don't know if you know this, David. When they cut all the way back to 86,000, they thought, oh, hold on, we better chuck it.
No, what's going to happen is...
And what happened? Couldn't get anybody to
Boston Dynamics have already produced their soldier, if you like. So what's going to happen is all the countries are going to go, we can't get people to sign up as soldiers, as cannon fodder. So therefore, what we'll do is we'll just buy robots.
We'll create robots of war. And they've already done it, David. They're called drones.
So what I do is, tonight, if you get a chance, look up on your Fire Stick or whatever it is, Terminator, watch that and take in, that tells you what your new strategy is. There you go.
Hey.
We laugh. We shouldn't laugh.
But it is true. They couldn't protect us. Primary duty of government, protect the people.
Primary duty of government right now is protect themselves.
That's exactly what we're seeing. But as I was saying, when we got down to 86,000, the Tories put the brakes on and went, oh, we better start recruiting.
Yeah.
And what happened was nobody wanted to join. There's been a recruitment drive going on for the last decade.
Yeah, it's
And
so
the reason why we're down to 72,000
yeah,
is because the people were retiring and nobody was taking their fucking place.
right,
The kids already don't want to join.
yeah,
So the real reason why the UK wouldn't be entering into a peacekeeping force if it was to be permitted by Israel, is they don't have the manpower. They just don't have the manpower.
Well, it seemingly Philippines do.
Oh yeah,
They're prepared to put 20,000 individuals into Gaza as peacekeepers. What was that?
yes, I do know. You know, the UK government are giving 2 billion to Israel's largest arms manufacturer to train
Yes,
70,000 British soldiers a year,
we know that. Yeah,
and it's to teach them on cyber capabilities.
yeah.
So there you go. Yes, we do know about it. It's Limbit Systems,
Yeah.
the one that Palestine Action was always going after. So there you have it. But aye, 2 billion quid to the genocide
Yeah.
bill state. Well,
Yes.
if there's anybody's going to know about murder and violence, that would be a genocidal state. And as the UK plans on building its industrial strategy around militarisation, where else would you go? To another military state for your information.
I mean, that is the one thing that, in terms of building arms and all the rest of it, and strategies and all the rest of it, Israel, brilliant, because what they've done is they've thrown lots of money behind building arms. They even have a bloody machine gun that will fire in a corner for you if you want, right? At the end of the day, it's like, yeah, brilliant at it. Let's get rid of them.
Well, as I just said, we know that the UK is morally bankrupt and out of ideas when the current government's idea is to build the weapons of war to build your industrial base up. It's immoral, and it shows you the
Yeah.
damage that's been done by Brexit because they have no other option.
As far as I'm concerned, any politician that looks after the population of Scotland or England or wherever, they should be beyond reproach. That's the phrase that was always used. Beyond reproach. And that beyond reproach also means not dealing with countries that are committing genocide.
Dude, that wasn't the comment I was going to put up. It was this one. In the 1970-71, an anti-war protester superglued the army recruitment office doors. Didn't they know superglue was around back then?
Yeah,
But
I think it was PVA.
I remember the recruitment office. That's where I went to sign up.
Oh, was it?
It's shut. Bud Hill in Glasgow. It's shut now. A lot of them are shut now, David. They can't hire.
Yeah.
As I say, there's been a drive on for the last decade to try and get people to join.
I've seen on TV.
The television, yes.
What they do is they put up an F-35. There you are. Do you want a shot of an F-35? They go over a computer. There you are. We're the people for you.
Aye.
There you go.
They say the young people just don't want to do it. And I don't blame them.
Aye.
The way to defeat war is just to no sign up because you won't be able to fight them.
Well, who's it actually generates the wars to begin with? Tends to be banks. Banks are the first ones out the stock, as it were, in terms of creating wars. The Rothschilds of this world, right? Money was no option for the idiots of this world, like the Netanyahus or the Hitlers or whatever, right? There you go.
Well, David, that's a good question. Where is Netanyahu getting his money for to run this war?
So I'll tell you what.
The economy's on its arse, so he's going to be getting it from somewhere.
Oh, he's getting it from America.
And here.
Yeah, and here, yes. Right.
It's a good point, you know.
Yeah.
But as I say, this notion, this silly idea that the UK, Yvette Cooper coming out and saying to us, no, we won't be putting boots in the ground in Gaza. We know.
Yeah.
But you've already had boots in the ground. But they were there to help the Israelis. And they were there as official observers. They were there to see the latest weapons of war being utilised. Gaza was being used as a laboratory. But anyhow,
Anyway.
Brings us to Trump. And Trump being in Egypt now. He was addressing the Knesset this morning.
Yes.
And I was a bit disgusted with it. Telling Israel their nightmares are.
Well, the wee guy of Arabic descent, he's one of the Knesset politicians, and he tried to put up a protest whilst Trump was having his speech.
Aye.
But he wrote about his protest before he did it, which is rather interesting, right? And what he wanted to do was explain to people, recognize Palestine, for Israel to recognize Palestine,
Aye.
to stop any further action whatsoever by the IDF.
I think they're directing it. Trump to recognise Palestine, as you know.
Yeah, and no, but it was Israel as well.
Aye.
He wanted Israel to recognise Palestine, right? And that was it. And what happened was the man was herded out of that chamber.
Aye, of course that would happen.
Yeah.
But you see, Trump, Starver, they're over in Egypt at the moment, sunning themselves in Sharm el Sheikh.
Yeah.
Where they're going to divvy up Gaza between them.
Yeah, let's get it right. Without Hamas are not really going to be, Palestine is not going to be representative.
No.
Not really.
The Palestinian people are going to very well see in their future for the next whatever long time it takes for Netanyahu to go back in again.
Sounds a bit like Ukraine, doesn't it?
What it sounds like, David, is they're swapping one colonial master for another.
Darling.
And America and the UK are getting in there to get the spoils of war. It'll be UK and American construction companies that will rebuild Gaza. It will be UK and American oil and gas companies that raise the Gaza basin.
Or it'll be Tony Beale there.
That'll be Governor General. So basically, folks, what they're doing in Egypt right now is divvying up the spoils of war.
Yeah.
It's disgusting to see.
But it's not a war, it's just been shooting fish in a barrel.
Yep.
So in other words, if you take people, put them in a big room, loads of people, and give somebody a machine gun, and all you want to do is just keep on killing people all the time. Effectively, that's what Israel have done. Something like that. And the people, the America has been in the background cheering them on, going, "Oh, you want some more bullets? Oh, the gun's getting a bit warm. Here, you take that, right?"
I'll tell you what's going to happen here, David. We're going to have a Rudolf Hess situation where there's going to be a rotating governorship of the prison that is Gaza.
Yeah. Yes.
That's and right. All of it moving back and forth between the Americans and the UK and the Israelis, and there'll be one really, really awful jailer and two no so awful jailers. And the people will look forward to the 6 weeks that the UK is in charge, the 6 weeks that the Americans are in charge, and then they'll get their awful bloody jailer back again when the Israelis roll in.
Yeah.
They're just swapping the prison master. But what they're doing in Egypt right now is divvying up what the prison master is going to be spending their money on.
I just hope people in this country do not, no matter what happens, do not forget what people in Israel specifically have done. So in other words, we're in Scotland. We have some really, really nice real estate for people to go and look at. Glencoe, you name it, right? All the rest of it, right? You find out they're from Israel. You find out they're IDF. Tell them to get the fuck. What was that?
David. But talking of GTF, as we like to call it in the broadcasting circles, rather than get the fuck, as we try not to swear as much, but as we always do, never mind, it's part of the parlance. It's time to get the fuck.
Yeah.
Hours up, folks. We hope
Remember, guys, we are Scotland. We've got plans. Get on board. Help out. Time for independence, independence, independence. I'll see you in the barricades and keep your eye on the prize.
Aye, and the war's begun.
Yeah.
The election is up and running. The speeches have started. The shit's starting to fly. The press will be manufacturing all sorts of nonsense. And we hope you enjoyed these boring old farts here, whittering about what's going on in the world.
We're going to start asking, what fucking currency are you going to use?
Aye, eyes on the prize, folks. The prize is majority 2026. Unfortunately, we find ourselves back in a situation where it is both votes SNP.
What currency are you going to use? Tell me. What currency are you going to use? I'm going to go off.
Whatever one you want to buy my fucking oil in.
What currency are you going to use?
Whatever one you want to buy my oil, gas, and electricity in. All right. Bye for now. Eyes on the prize.